Vertex BD has an extensive library of doors, windows, and building components. In this next video, we'll learn how to insert each of these into our model. Let's start with doors. To add doors, there are a couple of ways you can insert a door in the model. One way is to go up to the Modeling tab, Wall Layout, and select Insert Door. And that'll bring up the door menu. Another way is to select the wall, right-click, in the pop-up menu, select Insert Door. This brings up the door browser. I'm going to hit the back button there. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see a section for History, Favorites, and the door library. If we expand the door library, you'll see different door styles. You got exterior, garage double, interior doors, patio doors. And within each of those folders, over to the right, you'll see the library of doors that are within each folder. In this case, we're looking at the exterior 4-panel doors. Back to the left side, you'll see that we also have a search field where you can search for a door. So, for example, if you need to find a 3.0 door, you can do a 3/0, hit the arrow. Actually, it just automatically populates. You'll see all the different 3.0 doors that are within the door library. You can also, if you know the code, you can also search the code. For example, this 3/0 BFL for bifold louver door. Knowing the code, you can go through and type that in, BFL there, and do a search, and it only brings up that door. But you would need to know the exact code. You also have a refresh browser button, and you also have some edit settings. The edit settings will let you modify this left-hand panel and the search. If you want to do an instant quick search, you can search all fields or search the code or not have it in use. You can also select the delay. I'll just leave it at default. Under classification, tree includes, you can toggle off the history or favorites folders. I'm going to hit cancel. If you right click anywhere on the background here, you can expand or collapse all. And this time I'll collapse it. And then over on the, let's clear this out actually. And I'll go into exterior 6-panel. Over on the right side in the main panel, if you right click, you have several tools available. You have the Find and View. View will change the look of the library, how it's displayed. Right now it's set to large icons. You can change it to large tiles, which will display the information, a little bit more information about the door. You can also change it to small icons, small tiles, list view as well, and then with a little bit more information, the details view. I like the, let's leave it at the large tiles. That gives us a description plus the code. That's the door code there. If you hover over the door or tile, you'll see a pop-up. It just basically gives you a larger view of the door. Now, once you have a door selected and you right-click, you have a few more tools available. You have an Add, which will go through the process of inserting the door. You can also add this door to your favorites. So if you have a type of door that you constantly use on all your projects, you can add it to the favorites, and it'll be easier to find. You can just hit Add to Favorites, go into your favorites, and it will be stored there. So you can have a quick access to your doors without having to browse the door library. Go back to 6-panel and double click the door. And that will bring up the door properties. We have a General tab, Grills tab, and Hardware tab. Under the General tab, you'll see some information such as the door code, the label that will be placed on the drawing, a description of the door. We have the bottom height location in correlation to the floor, the rough opening for the width and the height, the thickness of the casing sides and casing top, and also the border, which is the distance between each of the panels. If you want to alter that, you can modify that value. U value and a type of door. And also you can set the offset from center line. So if you need to offset the door inward or outward based on the center line, if you have a wider wall and you need to move the door, you can type in a value there, and then the door swing as well. Over on the right side, we have a preview. We also have a preview of the plan view, and we have a preview button. So if you make a change in one of these settings and you want to see what it looks like, you can hit the preview to refresh the view of the model. For example, let's take the swing angle. We want to change that to a 30-degree swing. You'll notice that once we change the swing angle, nothing has been updated. You need to hit the preview button, and now you see what it would look like in the 2D drawing. I want to set that back to 90 degrees, hit preview, and go back to the model. And that also works with 3D. So let's say we want to change the casing top for some reason. Let's just go to 3 inches, and we hit preview. You see that now the top of the casing is now thicker. Move that back to 1 inch and hit preview. If you make some modifications to this door and you want to save it as a new door in the library, you can select Save Door. This code is already in use, so you have to give it a unique name. So you would type in some new code name for the door that's unique and then save it. And then you'll have a new door in the library. Let's go to the Grills tab. We won't cover the Grills tab here because this is a door. We'll come back to it when we insert windows where it's more appropriate. If this door did have some glazing and you wanted to add some grills, you could do that here. It's right now using a standard. You can select and change a different type of a grill look. But like I said, we'll come back to this when we work with windows. And then hardware, that's basically information regarding hardware linked to this door. It's not going to display any of the hardware in the model. It's used in the door schedule. But if you want to add that information here for the lock set, the hinge, number of hinges, door stop, and roller catch, and you can hit the drop down and change that information there. And you also have a grills checkbox. Doesn't really pertain to this, but if we wanted to see the grills, you can check that box. And then we also have the back button here that'll take us back to the library. So if we click that, it takes us back to the exterior 6-panel library. I'm going to select the 3.0 exterior panel door, left-handed, and select OK. And you see that it's linked to the wall that I had selected. You can easily use our reference drawing like you see in the background, add that door in that specific location, though the reference drawing will come in handy. We're going to turn off the reference drawing here in a bit and become more familiar with using the Q reference tool. That's a tool that you're going to use extensively throughout your work in BD. Now you see that the door is linked to the cursor, and we can place it wherever we want along the wall. Right mouse click. We have access to more tools that will help us modify this door if needed. Start with the Z. That's basically the height of the door. So if we had to change the height in the Z axis up or down, we can select that. But if we need to change that, we can add a value based off of the sill height or the header height. And if it's a distance relative from the current floor, which we're on the first floor level, or based off the global height. I'm going to hit cancel. Right click, bring up that menu again. We have edit parameters. Basically, it'll take us back to this door parameters window. So hit OK. The next button is a clear siding above opening. So if we add a door, all the siding above that will be removed. That is in line with the opening. We have inner distance from a point. Basically, it's going to work similar to the Q reference where you pick a point and enter the distance over of where that door should be located. We have select a wall. So if we want to add this door to a different wall, we do not have to get out of the command and go back to the process and select a different wall. We can just do that here by clicking that wall icon, select the wall, and now you see that it's jumped to this wall. We can place a door there. I'm going to bring it back to this original front wall. Left click, and we have access to mirror. So if we need to mirror the door, see, we mirrored it over. You can also flip it. We select flip. It flips the door to the other side of the wall. There's also a flip 3D, where it'll only flip it in 3D. There's also select locating point. So right now we're on the left side of the door for the left reference point. There's also a middle point and a right point. But if you want a different location on the door, there's a specific point that you need to locate. You can click on it, and maybe you needed that inside edge of the door jamb instead of the outside. Can then pick that point and use that as a locating point. I'm just going to close out of that. You can set the visibility for the thresholds for interior doors if you want those on or off. And then you also have a add multiple openings in a row. So you have doors or windows that are equal distance from each other. You can add multiple openings at the same time without having to go through and adding each object individually. We have the 2D and 3D representation. We want to make sure that we add it in both of those. Then you have your coarse or accurate representation. I'm going to leave it at left. And I'm just going to drop that on top of this door. Now, one other thing that you can do, I want to hit escape, get out of this command. Let's say you added this door incorrectly. It's not hinged correctly, or it's to the wrong side. If you click on the door, you have a few tools available to you. You have your grip points. You got middle, left, right. So if you need to move it over, if you incorrectly place the door, you can do that. You can also change the side of the door, so you can mirror it by using the left and right arrowhead. And then you can flip it using the up and down arrows. You can edit the door and fix it if you incorrectly placed it without having to delete the door and reinsert it. I'm going to select that door and select the delete key to remove it. Now let's go through the process of adding the doors. We've got several doors to add into this model. We've got interior doors, exterior doors, sliding glass doors, and then some windows. We can insert doors and windows using the reference drawing. But for the sake of training, we're going to become more familiar with using the Q reference point and adding doors and windows manually. Obviously, having the CAD drawing or a reference drawing and placing them with the aid of the reference drawing is definitely easier. But again, for training purposes, let's go through the process and assume that we don't have access to a reference drawing. So let's turn that off. So we'll go up to reference drawing. Let's go to properties. And you'll see the reference drawing should be tutorial1-layout.vxp. We're not deleting it, we're just turning it off. So we're going to uncheck that box and select OK. And now you see that we just have the walls, our exterior and interior walls. I'll give you the dimensions and distances that you need to place these correctly. Obviously, in an actual project, you would have access to a PDF or construction documents that have all that information. Let's go ahead and hit Shift A to zoom out. Now let's place that first front door. Let's go up to the modeling, wall layout, and insert door. Go into the door library and select exterior 6 panel, and we will insert the 3.0 exterior panel door to the left. And either select OK or right click and hit add. Let's select the front wall. Now, right now it's using the left-hand side for placement. We're going to right click and switch that to middle placement or center. And we're going to find the midpoint of the wall. So we'll zoom in a little bit. We want that yellow triangle. So we'll see that yellow triangle. It can be either side of the wall. It doesn't really matter, or the center line. It's all located right on the middle of that wall. So we'll click on that and place that door. Now we're going to add a sliding glass door back here. We're still in the door command. We don't have to hit escape. Now what we want to do is change the wall. So we'll right click, bring up that menu and select wall. Click on that wall. And now we have the door linked to that wall. Now we want to change the door. This is going to be an 8-foot sliding glass door. So we're going to right click. We're going to go into the edit parameters. Now it shows the 3.0 door, which is incorrect. You can hit the back button to go back to the library, but that's still the exterior 6-panel library, or we can just jump down to the exterior, actually the patio 2-panel gliding door. And then over on the right side, we'll scroll down and look for the French gliding door, the FWG 8068-L is fine. Double click on that to go to the parameters. Everything looks good there. So we'll just hit OK. Now I'm going to zoom in on this wall. Now we want to place this wall in the middle, but because of the corners that we have, we're not going to get the true middle of the wall. We want the wall to be placed between this interior corner and this exterior corner and find the center. There is a tool that will help us locate that midpoint. So if we right click and go into snap, and we have middle, which will find the midpoint of 2 points that we select. And you can also use the D key as the hotkey. So I'm going to select middle, and I'm going to select this first inside corner. And then I'm going to come down and select this exterior corner of the framing. And it finds the midpoint of those 2 points and places the door. So now that's centered along those 2 points. Next, we're going to add some interior doors. So let's right click. Let's go ahead and select wall. We're going to select this interior wall. And we have a door here in between these 2 stairwell walls. Obviously, we're not putting a sliding glass door in there. So we're going to right click and change to a different door. Edit parameters. Over on the left-hand side, we're going to select interior 6-panel, and that is a 2.8 door. So 2.8, we'll make it a 2.8 interior SW6 to the left, and select OK, or right-click and hit Add. Select OK. If we zoom in, we want that door located in between these 2 walls, but I do want that door on the other side. So we're going to right click and select flip. Yes, we want that hinged over on the right side, which that looks fine. I'm going to select the midpoint of this drywall, or the edge of the interior framing is fine. Either one. You'll see that we get the yellow triangle. Now let's go over in the bathroom area. I'm going to right click, select wall. We're going to select this horizontal wall here. Let's go ahead and add the bathroom door. That's also a 2.8, but we just need to change the hinge and flip that door. So we're going to right click, we're going to mirror it, and then we're going to right click again and flip it in 2D so that it's hinged over on the right. And we're going to find the midpoint. Get that yellow icon and click on that. Now we have another door over here for the closet. That one is a 2.4, so we're going to right click, go into properties. We're going to hit the back button because we want to stay inside the same library, the 6-panel, but we want to select a different door. So we'll hit the back button, take us back to this library. Let's go with the right, 2.4, interior swing 6 right. Hit OK. And actually, I want to flip that. So I'm going to right click, flip to that side, and I want it swinging outward. So we'll change that to a 2D flip, and we'll center it along this side. Now we have a louver door that we're going to add over here, a 2-foot louver door on this wall. So we're going to right click, select wall, and we're going to select this wall here. Next, we'll go into parameters. So right click and edit parameters. And we're going to go over to the interior louver door. We're going to select the 2.0 interior louver door to the right. And that's hinged correctly, and it is to the correct side, but I want to change the swing, make it a 30-degree swing. So let's right click and go into the properties and change the swing angle to 30 and hit OK. We'll find the center of this wall here. Let's go with the inside, get that midpoint yellow triangle snap. There we go. We have one more door over here. We want a bifold door. So we're going to right click, select the wall, right click again to edit the parameters. And we're going to go to interior 4-panel bifold door. And that is a 6-foot wide bifold. Click on that. We're not going to change any of the parameters there. So we'll select OK. And find the midpoint of the interior side. And that is offset. The door is offset correctly. That looks good. Zoom out just to make sure that we have everything we need. So that looks good. Actually, we have a couple of more cased openings to add. Right click, select insert wall. I'm going to go back to the bearing wall, which is the turquoise colored wall. We're going to right click, go back to parameters. And we're going to find interior cased openings. And the first one we're going to insert is going to be a 3.0 cased opening. Everything looks good there. Hit OK. And yes, we want it centered. So that placement is centered, which is correct, or middle. And we're going to cue that one over 18 feet 5 inches from this left intersection. So we're going to go zoom in where the interior wall connects to the exterior wall. Get a yellow icon there and hit Q to set that as a reference point. And from that point, we're going to pull the door over to the right and type in a distance of 18 feet 5. Oops, 18 feet 5. Do not need the inch mark after the 5, but you do need the foot mark after the 8 there. And select return. And if we zoom out, you'll see the cased opening over next to the other door. And we're going to right click. We're still adding another cased opening to the same wall. It's just a different size. So we'll go to edit parameters. We'll hit the back button, scroll down until we find an 8-foot wide cased opening. Select OK. That one is centered 6 foot 10.5 inches from this right intersection. Zoom in, find that yellow icon where the interior wall butts up against the exterior wall. Q, pull the wall over towards the left and type in 6 foot 10, and you can go either space 1/2 or 6 foot 10.5. Either one of those will work. Hit return. And now we have an 8-foot cased opening. Hit escape to cancel. And you notice we did all of that without having to go back to the insert door function over and over, just by using the edit parameters and select wall from the auxiliary opening menu. We were able to add multiple walls without having to go back to the insert door function. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. So hit Shift A. Now that we're done with the doors, let's go ahead and add the windows. To add a window, it's very similar. You can either go up to the modeling wall layout, select insert window, or you can select the wall, right click, and insert window from there. Similar to the door browser, we have a window library browser. Same thing, we have a history, favorites, and the different window libraries. Over to the right, you'll see the different window images. So if we go into, let's just go into the standard window library. Let's select clad double hung single window. Again, you can make the same modifications as door browser. A right click changes the view to large tiles. I'm going to scroll down and look for the 24-210 double hung window. There it is, 24-210. If you double click, you'll get to the properties similar to the door properties, but you only have two tabs, the general and grills. You can have the manufacturer, you have the code, you'll see the label that's displayed on the drawing, and a description. You have the header height, rough opening for both the width and the height. Again, you have the casing sides and casing top thicknesses. Additional values such as a U value and a type. And the glass. So you can modify if it's tempered low E or just low E. Under the grills tab, you can select if you want to add grills to the window. Right now, if we do add grills, it will add the standard grill type. If you want to see the grills in the window, check the box for grills. And you can see them displayed in the preview window over on the right. That's the standard. You can change the number of horizontal and vertical panes for the standard. So if you only want to have 2 and 2 and 2, hit preview. You'll see it modifies the grills. And change that back to default. Now, if you want a different style from the standard, you can hit select. And now you have different window grills. Let's say we want to go with the Prairie number 1. Just click on that and hit preview. And now you see that we have a different grill design. I'm going to hit select and go back to standard and actually remove them. Hit preview and clears that out. Now again, if you make a modification and have a custom window or something that you want to use over and over, you can change the code name to something unique and save the window to the library. I'm going to select OK to add this window. It's a 24-210. That was under the clad double hung single window. Hit OK. I want to actually add that window to this back wall. So I want to right click, select wall, and click this wall. Now if I right click, you'll see that we have similar tools as the door auxiliary openings menu. Same Z, again, parameters, remove the siding over the opening. Everything is the same other than I think the flip and mirror really won't be used as much when it comes to windows. So let's go ahead and leave it at midpoint or center. Let's add this window to the bathroom. So we're going to find the midpoint of this wall here. Get the yellow triangle right there. Next, I'm going to add another one. We're going to locate this window 8 foot 5 1/4 inches from this exterior corner. Get the yellow dot. Select the Q key to set that as a reference point. Pull the window over to the left to get our distance. So we start typing 8 foot 5 1/4. I'll get 0.25. And you notice when we set the reference and it was locked in horizontal, we're filling in the distance field, not the X and Y. If you're getting the X and Y field, that's because it's not locked in the horizontal constraint. So hit return. So that's how to add 2 single windows. We're going to add multiple windows at one time. So let's go to the front wall. So we're going to right click. We're going to select wall. I'm going to zoom in a little. Now in this front wall, we have 4 windows that we're going to add. So instead of adding 4 windows individually, we're going to add 2 sets of windows on each side. So we'll only need to access a command twice. So let's go ahead and change this to a different window. I'm going to select the parameters. We're going to select the double hung single, but we are going to change it to a different size. So we will stay in the same library. Hit the back button and go to the 24-42 double hung window. There it is, 24-42. Click OK. Parameters will be fine. And we do want to leave it centered in the middle, but what we're going to do is add an additional window. So we're going to right click and we're going to go over to add multiple openings in a row. Select that and we get the duplicate macro. So the macro is a window. So we want to add 2 of those. And we want the distance to be from center to center. And the distance is going to be 6 feet, but we got to type that in inches in this field. For some reason, the foot mark doesn't take, so we're going to type in 72. In the direction, we're going to start from the left side, so we want the direction of the windows to go towards the right. We'll hit OK. As you can see, now we have 2 identical windows spaced 6 feet apart. So we just need to locate that first window on the left. That is going to be from this interior corner. I'm going to make sure we get that corner, get that yellow icon, which is a dot because it's an endpoint. Hit Q, pull that over to the right, 4 foot 5 and a half, and hit enter. And now we have 2 windows. They're spaced 6 feet apart, and we want to do the same thing on the opposite side, but we have to alter our parameters here a little bit. So we're going to right click. I'm going to go back to the add multiple openings in a row. And we're just going to change that so the direction is towards the left. So the windows extend towards the left. We're going to do the same thing. Go out to this right corner, get that yellow icon on the corner, hit Q, pull the windows over to the left and type in 4 foot 5 and 1/2. And now we have all 4 windows on this front wall. Now we want to do the same thing on this right wall, except we can switch over to that wall. But the problem is it doesn't align these windows correctly. So we'll need to actually escape and cancel that command. We'll need to come back and run the command again. So we'll select this wall, right click, and select insert window. And it's the same window, 2442. We'll hit OK. And we want that centered or in the middle. And we want to add multiple windows. Add multiple openings in a row. We want 3 this time at 120 from center to center and towards the right. And now that's aligned with the window centered. Q, pull that up and type in 10 feet. And now we have 3 windows 10 feet apart. Hit escape to cancel. Now that we have the doors and windows inserted, let's go ahead and add some building components. Building components can be found under the Modeling tab, Accessory Component, and select Component. Or you can right-click and select Add Furniture, Symbol, Building Groups. Over on the left side, you'll see the Building Components library, as well as the History, Favorites, and the Search browser, similar to the Doors and Windows browser. Over on the right, you have images of the components. Let's go over to the left side, and you'll see that we have all kinds of components. You have from bathroom fixtures to columns, fireplace, furniture, kitchen items, laundry, shelving, all kinds of items that you can add to the model. Let's go ahead and go into the laundry, add an appliance. Let's go ahead and add the standard washer. So we'll double click that. You'll see that it is linked to the cursor. In this case, I need to rotate it. You have access to tools to modify the components if you right click. You have the rotation tools. You can scale, you can flip, you can edit the parameters, insert reference point or change a reference point, and add multiple components at one time, similar to how we added the windows. I need to rotate this clockwise, so I'm going to select 90 degrees to the clockwise rotation. I'm just going to drop this washer right about there is fine. And I'll hit V to confirm. And that takes me back to the browser. Next, I want to select the dryer. It's rotated correctly, so I don't need to make that modification. And I'm just going to drop that somewhere around here. And hit V to confirm. Next, let's add some bathroom components. So we'll go into the bathroom library. Let's go to fixture and let's add a toilet. So we'll double click that, zoom out, locate that off this wall, let's say about 18 inches. So we need to rotate this, rotate it 180, and it's centered there. So I'm just going to find that interior corner, get that yellow icon, hit Q, pull that down, lock it in the vertical. Actually, I need to hit the letter I, pull that down, type in 18, and V to confirm. Next, let's go ahead and add a sink. So we'll go to the sink library. Let's select the pedestal sink. Zoom out a little bit and let's hit Q here. We'll set the Q point on this wall. This time I'm going to select the drywall intersection. Q, hit the letter I, and pull that up, let's say about, I'm going to say 16 inches. And V to confirm. Let's add a couple more accessories. Let's see what we have here. Under accessories, let's go ahead and add the 24-inch towel bar. We need to flip that one 180 degrees, so we'll right click, 180 degrees clockwise, and we'll just get close to the wall somewhere here. Click on the drywall edge, drop that. So let's confirm, select V, and let's add a paper holder. Let's double click the paper holder. We need to rotate that one 90 degrees counterclockwise. And don't want to place it on the sill. So I'm going to find the drywall edge here, find that corner, hit Q, lock it in the horizontal with the U constraint, and pull that over. Just go 10 inches from there. And let's hit verify. And now let's add some closet shelves. So close the bathroom library and scroll down to shelves. Let's go ahead and add the 4 12-inch shelves for the closet near the bathroom. We'll double click. Now it's prompting us to select points. We need to input the length of the shelves. So we need to select the first point and the next point. And you'll see the shelf linked to the cursor. That's the back left corner of the shelf. So we need to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise. So right click, -90, and we'll click on the corner of the drywall back there. Next, let's add a shelf and a closet rod to the closet on this side. So we'll hit V to confirm. Let's go ahead and add the 12-inch shelf and 1 rod at 68 inches. Click that. And again, we need to select the length of the shelf. So we'll select 1 point and the opposite point. And that's the back left corner. So we just need to drop it here and select the corner of the drywall. Let's go ahead and hit escape to end the command. Now we can take a look at this in 3D. So hit the F2 key. And we can zoom over, pressing your middle mouse button down and moving your mouse around. You can rotate to see all these components that we added. Some of them may be a little difficult to see due to the walls. If you want, you can go ahead and select a wall, hit H to hide it. Same with the door if you want to remove that. Select the object and hit the letter H to hide it. Now you can go in and see the other objects. I'm going to hide this wall here just so we can see the shelves. To return the hidden objects, right click and restore hidden. Select the F2 key to go back to the 2D window and Shift A to go back, zoom back out. And make sure you hit save. Now all these components were added individually. We can also add what we call building groups in BD. Those are components that have been assembled to create a group of items that can be inserted at one time. For example, a kitchen layout. We can insert a kitchen layout that has all the cabinets, sinks, countertops, upper cabinets, base cabinets, refrigerators, appliances, all at one time. It's something that was pre-designed and can be used over and over. So let's go ahead and add a building group. Building groups are also located under components. So we can go up to the component and we're going to work with the kitchen. So let's go into the kitchen. There's a layout. We have two layouts actually. Let's go ahead and select one of them. Let's go ahead and select the kitchen layout number 2. And you see that we have an entire layout linked to the cursor. Let's go ahead and drop that in the corner and we'll select the interior corner of the drywall. And let's hit escape. Now you can see that we have an entire kitchen layout inserted in one click. Let's go ahead and hit F2, go into 3D and take a look at that. You can rotate and zoom in. We have all the appliances, the countertop, the cabinets, base cabinets, sink, all added in one shot. And each of these items can be individually modified. So if we wanted to remove a cabinet, you can select that cabinet. You can select and delete it. You can go ahead and select the countertop if you want to modify and stretch that, make it a little bit wider. Undo. Everything in here is an individual component. Hit F2 for the 2D window. Shift A to zoom out. All of these steps performed with doors, windows, and components is identical in the steel version. Now let's move on to floors and ceilings.